You guys, it is 4:30 in the morning. I'm so tired, but good morning. It is day 17 of Vlogmas, which only means that today is the Miss Universe final night, but instead of it being at nighttime, it is during the daytime here on Monday morning. It starts at 7 o'clock to accommodate for US time, which, oh my god. I'm gonna just get ready, maybe have a coffee, and hopefully get out of the door within 30 minutes to take a Grab car or taxi to Impact Arena. I looked, it's about 25 minutes from my hotel. I wish I could stay in bed, but the adrenaline and excitement of watching Miss Universe live. By the way, Neo is one of the performers tonight, which I'm super excited about. Love him. But if you're new to my channel, my name is Jerome. I'm a travel vlogger currently here in Bangkok, Thailand, doing a 25-day vlog series called Vlogmas, where I'm vlogging every day in December until Christmas Day, and it coincides with my Roam Around the World travel vlog series where I take you guys around the world with me, Jerome. So please do consider subscribing to see more travel vlogging content, and let's just get the insanely early morning started. This is my outfit. Just got done getting ready. Let's do a quick outfit of the day. So I am wearing this sequined blazer from Zara. This dress shirt that has this really nice, I don't know if you can see it, like vertical pattern. I think it's from Hugo Boss. And then these slacks from Zara as well. Got my Uber. This is my Grab driver. It is gonna be a Toyota Yaris. So I'm finally here. Oh my god! I don't know if you can see that. There's a Miss Universe sign right over there. Gonna head inside, get seated. Hopefully I can bring my vlogging camera in. I was able to bring my vlogging camera in. So I just got back from the Miss Universe competition. Can I just say that I'm so happy that I was able to come here to Bangkok, Thailand to watch this in person. And the icing on the top of the cake was that Catriona Gray, the Philippines, won. She has always been my favorite. I remember following her even before Binibining Pilipinas when she was in Miss World, and I remember distinctively that she was one of the frontrunners to win that competition. But there is a plan for everybody, and so that was really cool. I had shivers after the competition, and I'm in pure bliss. I thought I would talk a little bit about my experience going to Miss Universe live in Bangkok, and I kind of want to layer in some of the footage that I have as well as what the production broadcast had. So before the show, I was able to get to the arena on time, and I noticed that they opened the next section above for, you know, spectators to sit, whereas in prelims, if you saw from my previous video, they actually closed that off. So there were a lot more people in the stadium, and there were a lot of people just kind of waving their flags. There was a lot of pride and support for their country, and that was really, really cool to see. It was funny because before the show even started, the stage manager wanted us to turn on our cell phone lights when Neo performed the second song, the top 3 final look song, and in my head I'm like, ooh, but I don't know if I have enough battery, so we'll see. But it had a really cool effect when we tried it out in the beginning. I was sitting relatively close to the stage. I was still on the first floor, but not as good of a seat as I sat in the preliminary competition. Those seats I sat on the preliminary competition during finals night were going for $1,800 US, and I wasn't about to spend that much money. In prelims, it was just going for $200, which I thought you got a little bit more bang for your buck because you're seeing all of the girls. But I ended up still getting pretty good seats on the first floor. It's kind of like a few feet away from where I sat the other night. The opening of the show was just so rich in culture and amazing. They started out with these, I don't even know what they technically are called, but they're like Thai drums, and then they had all these women with like the gold costume. Sorry if I'm like butchering the description, but like they came out and then Neo sang, and then all the girls kind of walked out. And then we go into the introduction of the regions. So you guys know I do not like the top 5 from each region format for Miss Universe because it is such a disadvantage for some girls from particular regions, and it's such an advantage for other girls from other regions. Europe. You'll see that when they ended up choosing the top 20 and then those who go to the top 10, it's evident. They had kind of this really nice cinematic introduction and display of these women. In the background, you kind of saw this really awesome Thai background, because I had followed I follow a lot of the girls on Instagram, and a lot of them got to go to Krabi and I believe Pattaya, but they ended up doing like a destination trip during the 3 weeks that they were here, and then they did those introductions at that time. I had predicted the top 20. Overall, I did a really bad job. I got 11 out of 20, which is 55%. That's failing, guys. The Europe group was just so all over the place. But let's step back a bit, because I started out with Africa, Asia, and I ended up getting 4 of the 5 girls in my top 20. So I predicted South Africa, Philippines, Vietnam, and Thailand. When Thailand came out and got called, I think she was the last one from the group to get announced, the crowd went crazy. Of course, we're in Thailand. The only one that I didn't get was Nepal, which came as a really big surprise for me, but I've been hearing that she interviews really well, and as you guys know, the preliminary competition, 60% of the overall score is from the private interviews behind doors. So she might have nailed her interview, but I will say that she was flying under the radar for me. So now we go on to Europe, and I only got 1 out of 5. The one that I already knew that slayed it during the preliminary competition for me was Great Britain. She made the top 20, and the other 4 I was so bad at predicting. Actually, one of them was Ireland, who I had in my maybe category to get into wildcard, but I ended up choosing somebody else. So Ireland made it, Hungary made it, Eniko from Hungary, beautiful face. Belgium made it, I think maybe because she stood out really, really well, apart from other girls, because most girls either have like straight or like slightly curly hair. She had this like really, really cool, crazy hair that made her stand out from the rest. And then lastly, Poland. She flew under the radar for me because in prelims, she was right after the Philippines, and I feel like not really many people paid attention to her because Philippines had just left the stage. So the Americas is such a competitive field, and out of the 5, I ended up getting 4 of the 5. So I ended up getting Curacao, Akisha, Costa Rica, Canada, and Puerto Rico. The one that I didn't get was Jamaica, but I will say she was also part of my list of maybes to get into wildcard, which I ended up going with Mexico, who ended up not making it. I was actually happy about that. And then we get into wildcards, and wildcards was just, I don't know, it was a really interesting thing to see. It was really cool how they laid it out on stage. I don't know if it came as apparent on the TV screen, but the stage is in a form of an X, and on like one of the corners, it was all the top 20 women, and then the other 3 kind of lines in the runway were all of the regions. So they were all lined up and grouped according to what region they were in. And of the 5, I ended up getting 2. I ended up getting Venezuela, Stephanie, and Sonia from Indonesia. I didn't get USA, Brazil, and Australia. Those 3 also made it to the wildcards. And I was actually pretty surprised that USA and Australia made it through. For me, like, you guys already know about like the controversy that's going on, and whether we like to say that it was taken out of context or whatever, the truth of the matter is social media is such a powerful tool that it can magnify a lot of situations out of proportion. And for me, a few people asked during my predictions video why I didn't include USA in my top 20. And for me, I thought other women performed way better during preliminary competition. I thought that I wasn't really a big fan of her dress. To be honest, her finals dress during finals night was spectacular. She should have worn that during prelims. So overall, I got 11 out of 20, and I was actually a bit shocked because where was Ecuador? Where was Kenya? Where was India? You guys, Colombia has not placed in a long time. The past 4 years, we had 1 winner, 2 first runner-ups, and 1 second runner-up. And then we had somebody not make the finals. I mean, she did win the El Takuya 2018 award. If you guys know what I'm talking about, let me know down below. But I will say off camera that the sisterhood is real. I don't know if they caught this during the live broadcast, but even when we were in commercial break, I saw all of the women give each other like accolades and hugs and high fives when the camera was turned off, and it was just really heartwarming to see that. I feel like these women are uplifting. I feel like in other years you hear stories about people not getting along. Also, another thing that I noticed off camera, Steve Harvey has this like really big teleprompter at the back of the stage that made it super easy for him to kind of stay on his dialogue and make sure that he hits his cues with speaking, and I thought that was really interesting to see that behind the scenes. One thing that I thought was a little confusing though was it wasn't as clear when the ladies were called up to be the top 20 if that question that was being asked was like what was based officially to choose the top 10. I had heard off camera there was going to be a like 20-second dialogue that will be judged to determine the top 20, but I had no idea there was like a personal statement. So this year there is a new segment that had this personal statement for like 30 seconds that each woman would go one by one to the microphone to let the world know something about them. And I thought it was an interesting concept, and I really wish though that they didn't cut half of the women based on this 30-second dialogue. I would have much rather the 20 get cut to 15, and then 15 women get to do the swimsuit, and then 10 women get to do the evening gown. But I understand there are time constraints, but we did have 3 hours this year. It was a long one. For me, I thought that this would have been the perfect opportunity for USA and Australia to address the controversy and the things that were going on behind the scenes regarding all the drama. I mean, it was like the elephant in the room, especially with USA. I think Sarah, I think she was talking about her being a child life specialist, and I thought that, I mean, that's great that you want the world to know that, but I also think that if you want to be bold and you want people to understand your perspective, I thought she would have made the top 10 if she would have addressed it. But I also feel like with this specific kind of round, it just felt so rehearsed because, I mean, of course, everybody's practicing what they want to say, and I felt so bad for Jamaica because during the portion when she got called out to the top 20, she talked so freely to Steve Harvey, but then when she went to the mic for her personal statement, she froze up because it wasn't a dialogue, it was more so like a rehearsed speech. I don't know, she stumbled for like a second or two, and then she found herself. And then another big elephant in the room, and something that was addressed during the live telecast, was that Spain was the first transgendered contestant to compete in the biggest pageant in the world, Miss Universe. And I actually started getting a little emotional because her little package that they showed, she talked about like being different when she was growing up, and then in the very end she talked about she didn't need to be Miss Universe, just being here was enough and having representation. And she took her sash out and everybody in the room embraced her and supported her. It was such a beautiful moment because I felt that In a world where there's a lot of misunderstanding and a lot of different viewpoints, Miss Universe organization could have silently and not even addressed this, I want to say milestone or achievement. Whether you like it or not, it is a milestone. But they could have easily just not addressed it, but they were bold to address the world that, you know, they owned it. I also noticed that there were a lot of people sporting the transgendered flag, which is like, I think it was like a pink, blue, and white flag. So for top 10, this is gonna be a long ass video, I'm so sorry. So for top 10, half get eliminated, and they compete on both swimsuit and evening gown. Similar to Miss USA 2017 when Cairo won. If you noticed, everybody from Africa, Asia region, the top 5, made it through. 4 of the 5 from the Americas made it through, and then 1 of the 5 from the wildcards got through. Nobody from Europe made it to the top 10, and that just kind of goes to show that the thought of trying to be inclusive and to have that diversity, there is a price to pay, because I feel like nobody from Europe made it to the next round, and I felt that it, I hate to say, took the spot of some other contestants that could have competed. But yeah, so swimsuit, I have my notes here. Swimsuit happened, and you guys, I absolutely loved the capes. The capes had this kind of shoulder, kind of spiky detail to it, which I'm not sure about the spiky detail, but those capes had this like light flowy chiffon material with this galaxy print that worked so well with the background of the stage, and then it didn't take away from like the bright saturated swimsuits. And the swimsuits, you guys, were amazing. I felt like they were a cohesive whole, and that, you know, it felt like it was part of a collection. And last year with Yamamai's, like, I feel like you had a striped one, and then you had one with like slight sleeves, and then you have one with like leaf patterns. It just didn't feel like a cohesive set. This felt like a cohesive set. So South Africa came out, and she started so well. I thought the cape looked amazing on her. Vietnam, she walked with so much confidence. She ended the runway and she did her pose, and I was just like, yes, honey. Venezuela, like, she has this kind of rocking sway motion, and her hair is like her biggest asset. Then Philippines comes out with a pink swimsuit, and of course her lava walk is amazing. And she also did the slow turn. Costa Rica came out with her cape kind of wrapped around her body, and then when they called her name, she opened it and did a turn, and I thought that was really interesting. Curaçao, she has face, and she has an amazing walk. She kind of walks with this confidence, and really, I want to say it was pretty syncopated, but then like flowy at the same time, which is interesting. Nepal was a dark horse for me for top 10, but when she came out, she gave this like fierce look to the camera midway through, and I was like, okay. Canada, for me, Marta had this effortless walk to her, and I actually really liked it. Thailand came out, and the crowd of course was roaring, and she walked with so much confidence, and you can tell she was taking it in. And then lastly, Puerto Rico, she has this kind of like sweet girl next door. She like whipped out her cape, and she kind of like swung her arm, and then she had so much authority, which was really cool. And then after that, we didn't have an elimination, so we went again to top 10 for evening gown. And evening gown, I thought, I mean, I love the song. The songs today were so good. I love the songs. The song was amazing. South Africa came out with her high pony, and she definitely had extensions in, I think. But her dress was gorgeous. It was a silver metallic dress, but the problem was it got stuck on her feet at some point, and I remember being in the crowd and I was like, ooh. But she pulled it off. Vietnam came in, and she has so much elegance to her walk. When she came out, I was kind of hoping and wishing that she wore her yellow prelims gown, because I thought that was just her signature color. Next was Venezuela, and Venezuela. She was walking with her, of course, her hips swaying, and then Philippines came out. I kid you not, I gasped.
Yeah! Oh my God! Oh, I'm like so shook right now.
Because We knew that she had something in the bag for finals night. She had a good dress during prelims, but we knew that she had something different. And she came out, it was this red, almost lava looking, because it's her lava walk, but I believe it was called the magma dress, and it was supposed to represent one of the volcanoes in her hometown of Albay, Bicol region, Philippines. And she had this like really high slit that made her legs look 100 miles tall. And then she walked. And then I was like, oh my God. She was giving me everything, you guys. For me, like with her red lips and her side swept hair to show the Philippine ear cuff was perfection. She looked like Jessica Rabbit to me. I think she stood out because the 3 girls that preceded her had like this either silver or champagne light color, and then you have Catriona that had this red standout dress. Then Costa Rica came out, and she came out with a blue dress similar to Pia's dress in 2015. I didn't think she rocked it as well as when she was in prelims. She didn't do that turn at the end of the runway that I loved. Then Curacao came out, and I wrote face. She gives so much face, and her dress was just this amazing kind of beaded silver dress that was perfect for the runway. Nepal came out. For me, she was my least favorite of the top 10 evening gowns because one, her dress wasn't as standoutish to me, and two, she nearly tripped. Canada, Marta, she came out with this long train that looked so dominant on the runway, but it was really nice to see. It's a Michael Cinco dress. Thailand came out. She came out with also a red dress, and it was it's more structured. I don't know if I loved it, but I don't think I hate it. It was like in the middle. And then Puerto Rico came out. I think she wore the same dress as prelims, but she wore her hair differently, which I liked her prelims hair better than her finals hair. I think overall it was a night of like champagne silver, like neutral dresses. So 7 out of the 10 came out with that type of dress, and then 3 came out with color. So Philippines, Costa Rica, and Thailand. And then they called out the top 5. It was South Africa, Venezuela, Philippines, Vietnam, and Puerto Rico. And as they were standing in the line, you can see like, it was obvious that Catriona was in the middle wearing red, and it just made it so symmetrical in a way that I thought that was, I don't know if it was intentional, but it just looked perfect for Catriona at least. I thought actually Canada or Curacao could have been in the top 5 as well. This was a really strong top 5, so it was anybody's game for me. In the question and answer round, Puerto Rico was asked about the freedom of press. Vietnam, she was asked about like political correctness and like the Me Too movement, and I have a lot of Vietnamese friends, and they were online saying that the interpreter did such a bad job and did a disservice to her answer, and people were pissed. Philippines was asked about marijuana, and you guys, drugs in the Philippines is such a hot topic, and I actually was like cringing a little bit when they were asking it, because either way, someone's gonna be upset. The government is anti-drug, and you hear about extrajudicial killings, so she had to say the right thing, but then not like be politically correct. It was uncomfortable, but I think she chose to stay in the middle to talk about medicinal marijuana, and I thought that was like a pretty good answer. South Africa was asked about immigration and to limit the number of refugees. I thought that she answered the best out of the top 5 because she talked about humans are humans and that we should all love each other. And then Venezuela, she had the question about beauty pageants being archaic. And I thought she gave a pretty generic but good answer. So the top 3 was called, and Philippines, South Africa, and Venezuela made it to the top 3. Their last question was about what lesson have you learned that you can apply to Miss Universe? And this is such a good final question to ask all 3 because it gives the contestants an opportunity to tell about what they have learned in the past and how they learned from it and how they could apply that to the future. I thought that Philippines talked about something personal, having worked in the Tondo Manila, to also always look in the beauty of everything and to be uplifting and to also be grateful. And South Africa talked about we are all humans, similar actually to her previous answer, which I thought she kind of recycled it. And then Venezuela talked about she's in a family filled with women, and that each of them taught her something, and that working hard and achieving your dreams is something that she learned. And I think that for me, going into the announcement, I thought that South Africa was gonna be second runner-up, Venezuela first runner-up, and the winner Philippines. And then we did the final look, and I was so shook because Catriona looked so effortless. I mean, you guys know, I sound a little bit biased because I love Catriona, but whatevs, it's my channel. But she looked so effortless on the stage walking, and I saw in an interview after she got crowned, spoiler, that her goal was to make at least top 3 so that she can walk with Neo, because she loves Neo, which Catriona was just having fun. And you can see after she left the runway and was waiting to be called back out, she was just dancing and just like enjoying the moment. I think that that's one thing that she might have learned from Miss World to Miss Universe, that just enjoy it. So you guys know, second runner-up is Venezuela, first runner-up is South Africa, and our winner is Catriona Elisa Magnayon Gray, Philippines, Miss Universe 2018. Oh my god, I screamed so much when she won. I might have looked like I was possessed.
Philippines! Let's go! Let's go!
The area that I was sitting right next to me was like security, and they probably were like, what is wrong with him? I screamed so loud that I actually got lightheaded and I had to sit down. It was crazy. The arena lit up. I read somewhere online that like Catriona was denied the world but was given the universe, and I thought, oh, it still gives me chills. I'm gonna relax for the rest of the day. I'm so tired. I woke up so early. I'm just coming here to the pool, lounging. They just got me this drink. I have no idea what's in it, but it looks really good. Look at this pool though. This looks like the ground floor, but we're actually 15 floors up. The lady over there, the one that's passing by, just gave me a free 5-minute massage. So to end today's vlog, I am going to end it with some tea time. It is day 17, the day Catriona Gray became Miss Universe. This one looks like a green tea. Sweet almond green, buttery, sweet and nutty. It has green tea, almonds, marigold flowers, corn flower petals. I don't really love green tea, so this is done steeping. Smells really good. It's pretty good. That's another good one, David's tea. I'm exhausted. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.